Hello, hello.
Michael Weimer. What are we going to do with you
I know.
week? Or what are you going to do to us this week?
I know.
There have been calls for your firing, Michael.
Sure.
No, I'm serious.
I know.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean,
in private messages you don't even know about.
People yeah.
And even I got a couple of longtime subscribers saying they're no longer subscribing because of you, bro.
I'm sorry. I mean, yeah. It's just I promise I'm being honest, and
I know.
I promise. It's just I'm in this weird place where I do feel like libertarianism just has failed, just hasn't produced results.
Okay, you're not talking about me because I'm not a libertarian, right?
Sure. I'm just talking about the audience and their ideological leanings in general,
right?
And I just don't see the results. I don't see any inspiration from the libertarian side. And
you're talking about your former self, right? You used to be
yeah. And when I did the interview with our boy, what's his name?
Matt Geiger.
Matt Geiger, yeah. When I did the interview with him, I feel like I was like a really articulate libertarian, like spot on. But if you watch it, you can tell that I'm like miserable, and I'm like saying that there's no political solution. We're all completely hopeless. Nothing is going to happen. Like, you know,
it looked like a hostage video.
Yeah,
a hostage video. You look like you weren't really believing anything you were saying.
Yeah,
or at least that it wasn't your ideas coming out of your mouth.
Yeah,
and I'm watching. I'm like, the fuck, man? Because on this show, that is never a problem.
And that was right before Trump got shot. And then Trump got shot, and I saw it seemed brave, and the whole energy of the world shifted, and I saw a way out, and I saw a positive vision of the future. And all that time I was reading a lot of Pat Buchanan, because he was the one, we were all in on Israel, and he was the one voice on the right. I thought he was the most articulate critique of Israel. I thought he was super compassionate, super informed, just great on everything. And I read his book on the immigration issue in particular, State of Emergency, and then a couple other books of his, where I'm like, okay, I want to give the paleocon thing a try. I want to give tariffs a try. I want to give immigration restriction a try. And like literally, I see the results playing out the way the paleocons predicted, and I see everybody wrapped up in like hysteria about whatever mean tweet Trump said, or whatever large-scale New York Times Jake Tapper psyop, whatever color revolution that is being done, that was always going to be done to kick him out of office again. I don't see like any actual evaluation of where's the inflation that we were promised with the tariffs? Where is the GDP loss that we were promised with immigration cutting? Why do we have record GDP gains when immigration is cutting? Why do we have a 20% dip in murder rate if immigrants don't commit crimes like this? Like, if we have mass deportations, and I thought the crime rate per capita was going to go up if immigrants commit less crime.
Okay, you're already triggering. You're already triggering.
I'm sorry. I'm just saying.
Wait.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Oh, I have to fire you now. It's subscriber wants you gone.
And here's the bigger divide between us, I think. And this cuts to the core, I think, of what the show has
racial,
been.
Right? It's racial.
No. We're both anti-war. And
is that true? That's remained
consistent. I'm not super ideologically anti-war. I still don't like killing. I have a lot of critiques of the anti-war movement broadly, but I'm still.
That's easy.
Yeah. So, but I think your solution to being anti-war is to support the opponents of the regime, like support the opponents of the empire.
Mm-hmm.
Not to call you a name, but it's basically the Hanoi Jane like line.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
wait, do you think I do that?
Yeah, I mean I feel like that's been the main thrust of your argument, is that like we have to be for Hezbollah because we have to be for Iran, or like we have to want them to win if we want the American empire to contract. Like if we want the American empire to contract, we have to want the Vietnamese to win.
Okay, so that's really different than a lot of the left in the 1960s and 70s who weren't just calling for the Viet Cong to win or hoping for the Viet Cong to win militarily. They were communists who were in full solidarity with Ho Chi Minh and Vietnamese communism, right? They actually wanted to import communism into the United States. So that's really different than saying the only way. And now again, I'm open to a counter argument on this, but to me, it flows from the analysis of the analysis that it was true that the reason the United States left Vietnam was that they were defeated militarily by the Viet Cong and North Vietnam, right? And I think that was also, in a large sense, true for Afghanistan and Iraq. I think the armed resistance called the insurgency in those two countries ultimately forced the United States to leave. I mean, it became basically untenable. If the resistance of the insurgencies hadn't existed in those countries, why would the United States ever have left? So if I'm wrong about that the only way to get the United States out of the Middle East, which nowadays, I mean, I think if you asked any sort of half knowledgeable American, if they still want to have all those US military bases in the Middle East, the only way to get it out is for Iran, which is the leading opponent of the US empire in the Middle East, to essentially defeat the US militarily. If I'm wrong about that, then sure, we can have another argument, but so I'm not, again, obviously I'm not an Islamist and I'm certainly not a communist. I'm not a Shia Islamist, right? And I'm not any kind of communist. In fact, I'm an anti-communist. I'm not anything on Islam because it's irrelevant to my life. But if it were any kind of threat that Sharia law would be imposed in the United States on me, then I sure would be an anti-Islamist. So no, I'm simply saying, for better or worse, and maybe it's just unfortunate that we have to say I'm siding with them. I don't even know what that means, but I guess in this particular fight, that is the one thing about the Islamic Republic of Iran that I'm fully in agreement with, in solidarity with. It is the centerpiece of their foreign policy since 1979 to expel the US and Israel, which they see as its proxy, correctly, from the Middle East. And so like that seems fine. And also, my position on what goes on in those countries is sort of similar to paleocon or a lot of libertarians, which is like, I have no position because I don't live there. It's irrelevant to me in my life, basically. So, and also it's just the height of imperial arrogance, I think, to say one thing or another about how the people in Iran should live, what their politics should be, what their government should be, etc. So I want to be clear about that. There are people in the anti-war movement, although it's a minority, who support Venezuela against the US or the Chavista and Maduro regime against the US because they like Chavismo. They like that politics, that form of government, that sort of socialist type government. It ain't me. That ain't me. I have zero interest in that, in living in Venezuela under any kind of government like that. So, I mean, we could also say that it doesn't matter. So that's the point, right? Yeah. So to say that I support those regimes,
well,
or those governments. I hate using regime all the time.
I
Those
know.
governments, those states, they're also states. I'm an anti-statist, so to
Yeah.
me, all states are the enemy. Right. I just want to be clear about that.
But if you're, I do think it's safe to say that you side with the resistors typically. Like,
Well, yeah,
mhm.
well, sure.
And I think my position is more a counter-revolutionary, reactionary, informed by, you know, our event we did in 2022 with Curtis Yarvin and what he talked about with the clear pill of just submitting to authority and just like getting stability through, like, you can't live in perpetual revolution. And when you encounter state power, honestly, the best thing to do to get the most freedom in your life practically is to acknowledge their power and comply with it. And like live in that hierarchy, know your place in the hierarchy, you know.
Which power should you submit to?
You know, I mean, he used the example of like, you know, paying your taxes or complying with police officers when they pull you over.
So, but okay, so that's the state, but which state should you comply with?
I mean, currently I live in the United States, and there's a United States federal government that has power.
The federal government of the United States is what you should comply with.
I mean, also in general, like I see the vast majority of anti-colonial struggles, revolutionary struggles, as the bloodiest, worst things that ever happened, and that things would be a lot better if there wasn't a slave revolt in Haiti, for example, that killed their masters. I think bad things happen when you kill your masters, and then you're in charge, and then you have all the responsibilities that come with that, you know. And you know,
so that's a really interesting point or argument that I've actually made on this show a few times, right? Which is that the argument about colonialism needs to be or the arguments against colonialism need to be revisited, because many colonized subjects, including right here in North America, of course, loved their colonizers, or at least welcomed them, and that includes many people in Iraq who they had a functioning electrical grid, you know, in 2003. Now, I don't think it's a majority, but certainly there's a significant number of people, certainly in India. I mean, I happen to know in India, my girlfriend's father was born in Calcutta, and he speaks with a British accent now, and he adopts British customs, and somewhat sort of proud of being British in a way. But also lots of gratitude among many Indians for the immense infrastructure that the British introduced to India. Now, again, a lot of people would scream back at me, well, yeah, they did that on top of the bodies of thousands or millions of people killed in conquering India and in continuing to subjugate it. But it's a much more complicated subject than people think. And that's actually a conversation I would love to have, because I'm not sure. I mean, so I don't have a very clear position on that. My position, though, as a resident of the colonizer, is that I don't want to pay for it, that it often results in blowback, and I don't like seeing people killed no matter what in the name of my country, and in the name of some basically abstract principle, which is what the United States always has done in its conquests. It's, you know, it's always in the name of democracy, freedom, etc. I see no reason that it helps me. I think there's no good argument that even economically it's been advantageous to people living in the United States to have a vast global empire. It's cost us how many trillions of dollars just in governmental outlays to fund this thing for however you want to count it, either 250 years or 60 years or 80 years, trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars, which clearly has not helped us economically. So those are the reasons. I mean, again, on foreign policy, my position is basically Ron Paul's. That's his position. It's not the poor people of the third world have been oppressed by the U.S. colonizers or the empire. It's that it's not good for me or us who live here. So again, just clarifying my position. That's all.
Yeah.
For those who want me to fire Michael from this show, I want to say you're watching the wrong show.
Yeah, fair.
And if you like me in any way, you're wrong about that. You shouldn't like me because, as I've said countless times, my number one principle or interest, even ideology, I guess you could say, is a commitment to intellectualism, curiosity, and openness to ideas, and the exchange between ideas, open inquiry. That's what I'm committed to, because I have changed, as many people know, changed my politics fairly radically in my life. I was born a socialist, remained a socialist into my 30s, and then dumped not just socialism, but statism overall. And whatever I am now, it ain't no socialist. So for that reason, I'm very sympathetic to people who are really open and curious. And curiosity is what I really value in people. The interest in ideas, interest in the world, interest in other people, but especially interest in ideas. So if someone can suggest someone who would be a better partner for me than Michael Weimer, I'm open to it. I don't think you're going to be able to find anyone.
Well, thanks. And literally, I mean, the number one priority why I do this show is that it's an hour and a half conversation every week with a friend. Like, it is. And for real, like that's well,
we can just do it on the phone.
Yeah, I know, right? It's
Let's call you up at 7 o'clock on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
People should know, because it's funny how we met, or how I first became aware of you, because you are, you're being coded, I guess, as right wing, and correctly,
sure.
Paleo conservative, which, paleo cons and right wingers tend to not be so open to racial differences, I suppose. You took my course on Black culture and history.
Yeah.
And I said, this kid is brilliant. Who the hell is this? And then it turned out you were not only into Black culture and history, you were an Afro-Cuban percussionist.
Yeah.
And that is people, for those who don't know, that is your number one passion more than politics.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Black music. I mean, and so I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. A right-wing kid from Indiana who's into Black music and Black culture, and damn, what could be better? But yeah, you were just so smart and so articulate and confident. I had to hire you. And you were like, how old were you then? 24 or something?
Yeah, 24.
Jesus.
24.
Couldn't believe it. I mean, I was a dipshit when I was 24.
But the thing is, like, I believe people truly are different. And how can you love somebody's differences if you believe everybody's exactly the same? Like, how can you love another race if you think they're exactly the same as you?
Oh.
Like,
okay.
I think being honest about people's differences is like a prerequisite for acknowledging what makes them unique and great.
That was actually where we bonded, right? Because you saw that in me too, right? Because I was like, no, Black people really are. I mean, Black culture really is different, really is different. The difference for you and me against other people on the right is that we like it.
Yeah,
we like Black culture.
It has a place.
Not all of it. What's that?
Yeah, it has a place. Like it's
well, if you like it. I mean, it's fine if you don't like it. I'm not saying you need to like it, but overall, and there's of course parts of Black culture I'm extremely critical of, which again, many people on the left would never be, but that's the difference. And so that's what brought us together. And it's a fascinating thing. And so again, if anybody please suggest someone out there who could replace this man, it ain't gonna happen, dude.
Thanks. Yeah, I know. I wish. I'm sorry, and I wish I still was a libertarian. I wish that the movement. Just and
if you agreed with me on everything, it'd be fucking boring.
It's. Thanks. I agree.
For me.
Yeah. Thanks.
That's most YouTube shows, almost all of them. is people who agree with each other. In other words, by the way, chat, does anybody know of another show on YouTube in which the two hosts disagree with each other as much as Michael and I do? I don't know of any.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe actually Breaking Points is almost there, but they actually tend to agree most of the time.
They're pretty established when it comes down to it.
I mean, I think they're great. I think it's the best news show on the YouTube. I do. I think it's the best news show out there. But yeah, I mean, you know, but yeah, no, they agree most of the time on stuff. They certainly don't have extended fights like you and I do. So
yeah.
Anyway, that's it. So if you canceled your subscription because Michael disagrees with me, good riddance.
Yeah.
But I still love you.
Thanks.
Come back.
Thanks. I do. If we're talking about black culture, I do have a take on the movie Sinners that just got 16 Oscar noms, the most Oscar-nominated movie in history.
Yeah. I got another movie to talk about, but go ahead.
Okay, I finally saw it.
Which is it now?
Sinners.
I know, but what's it? I forget what's it about.
It's Michael B. Jordan plays his identical twin. Some like cousins came back from Chicago in 1930s to the Mississippi Delta to start a juke joint with all this mafia money they've made.
Oh,
yeah.
And love the premise. The premise.
Great premise.
Not a good movie.
It turns into a vampire movie about how black people are magic and white people are evil. And then it turns into a Rambo movie. It turns into Django Unchained at the very end, where the only white people who weren't vampires were Klan members, and they all get murdered.
It's very 2020.
Yeah,
I thought we were over that. I thought we were over that.
Yep.
There's another black movie that just I don't know if it's coming out or it's out yet, but I saw the trailer and I was like, it's from my homie Boots Riley, who's from my neighborhood.
Oh yeah, Berkeley. Yeah.
And it's called
Booster.
It's called
Boosters.
I love boosters. And I said, what are boosters? And it is seems to be a movie not just about, but pretty clearly celebrating. I don't know if this is in other parts of the country, but in California and especially the Bay Area, there are one of the big pieces of organized crime here is these organized gangs or whatever groups, mostly black, not always, but usually black, often women, who go into fashion stores and shoplift as much as they can in groups and then resell it on the black market. And it sure looks like, and it's got Demi Moore playing the uptight white lady who owns the store, and she's so uptight and crazy and stupid and racist. And I'm like, she's an independent business owner. What? And it's like, it's great to steal from her, and she's an idiot for objecting to that. Oh my, Boots Riley. He's been an idiot for a very long time, and a big fan. And the left loves him.
But people are enchanted with the movie Sinners because the music is so great. The music is really good in it. And there's a Buddy Guy cameo at the end that's great to watch. It doesn't make sense with the plot really, but it's great to watch. But the funny thing about the music is it won the Golden Globe for Best Music. And the guy who walks up to and the whole movie, by the way, is about don't let the white people into the juke joint. The white people are vampires. They're evil vampires. They say they want to party with you and spend their money and have equality, but really they're vampires. They want to eat you and steal your songs.
That's not totally wrong.
Yeah. No, it's an interesting premise. I mean,
you and I are vampires, right?
Yeah.
We like to suck the blood of black people in a sense, right?
But the guy who accepts the Golden Globe for the score of Sinners is a long-haired, pasty white Norwegian guy.
Norwegian?
Yeah.
Not even Jewish. They went all the way to Norway for this one.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's
well, black culture has actually, I mean, I think we haven't talked about this much, but since I taught that course, I think it was 5 years ago, and I've said this to Kamasi Hill, who was co-teacher on that course. I mean, Kamasi is a black nationalist who was raised in a black nationalist home in Detroit. Both of his parents were Black Panthers, and that as much as I've loved black American culture my whole life and the whole history of it, I'd say in the last 5 to 10, maybe 15 years, it's declined in quality from my values. I'm not saying in any absolute sense, but to my values, it's way less interesting. There's way less sort of intelligence in it. And just the quality, like rap itself is just, we've talked about this, but it's just almost unlistenable. And
I think there's people with a lot of talent and a lot of skill out there, but there's two things. One, you've talked about incessantly in your courses, Afro-pessimism.
Yeah.
The idea that,
Ta-Nehisi Coates is the most famous representative of the Afro-pessimist literary tradition, which is that racism has always been here, racism is here now, and it will always be here. It's eternal. It's a part of the biological, basically, or spiritual, I guess, makeup of white people. And so there is no hope. And so all that leaves Black people with, no political choices other than to be nihilistic. And, I think you see that in a lot of Black culture, certainly in the music.
And then the other thing real quick is constant needing approval from institutions. So Kendrick Lamar is a great rapper because he won a Pulitzer Prize.
Oh, right.
Sinners is a great movie because it got nominated for 16 Oscars.
Right.
It's constantly wanting the white hegemony to give you its approval and wanting to be measured by those things as opposed to appreciate it on its own terms.
At the end of the day, it's actually assimilationist and integrationist.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the irony of it. They put themselves out there as these new Black Panthers, and Boots Riley's got an afro and wears the black leather jacket and talks about the man and hating white people and they're vampires. Meanwhile, they all, I don't know about him. Well, yeah, he does too. They all live and breathe to get the approval of not just white institutions, but the most prestigious establishment institutions. Pulitzer Prize, my ass.
If Spike Lee from the 1980s saw how Spike Lee behaved in the 2010s at the Oscars, he would have lampooned him. He would have called him a sellout. He would have, yeah.
There you go. Yeah. I'm gonna bring up another movie, not about Black people, although there are some Black people in it in interesting positions, but that I think is a good segue to talk about the news, which is I just watched, which is I think 2 years old, maybe 1 year old, Civil War.
Oh, the A24 film,
Alex Garland film.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, it's well done. It's entertaining. It's gripping. It's great battle scenes. If you like battle scenes, incredibly violent. Quite disturbing. There's a couple scenes, one in particular that's tough to watch. But it does, as I'm watching, I'm thinking, God, if this came out now, it would get a massive audience, because it does kind of look like, especially in the opening scenes when you see riots and cops in the streets fighting people, it looks damn near exactly like Minneapolis, and other cities too. But there's a vibe of an actual civil war is starting to rise a bit.
I think it's like Bleeding Kansas right now. It's like,
whoa,
we're getting there. It's like there's specific wars over specific territories that mark the future of a national conflict.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. This all could fade away too. I could see that.
Yeah.
How many times have we been hysterical about such a thing happening? I mean, not you and me, but American political culture in general, certainly over the last 10 years. And then it just sort of goes away and people forget about it. But I don't know. The thing is, my problem is that I actually politically want some sort of a civil war. I don't want fighting. I don't want violence, but I want decentralization. We have to break apart federal power, state power. It's just incumbent upon the future of humanity to do that, because again, it's just an enormous country, which makes no sense in itself. Huge number of people, vast military and economic resources that, as we know, can kill everybody in an instant. And that means, and if it's a democracy, I mean, and we're kind of seeing this now, Americans are stone cold idiots and utterly ignorant of politics as a group. And so they're capable of electing pretty much anybody. And they certainly, given their propensity to support vast global wars that serve nobody's interests, I could see Americans as a group electing someone to the commander-in-chief position who will drop the bomb, or do something similar. So there's other reasons, there's other arguments for this. I'm actually going to do some stuff on decentralism as a political ideology with David Beto, who is the guest on Unregistered, which dropped today. He just came out with a new biography of FDR, and he and I together have written quite a lot on FDR. So we put together in this episode, I think, pretty much an almost unassailable argument that Franklin Roosevelt was indeed a fascist, and that the New Deal was fascistic and imperialist. But it's just overwhelming, the evidence now that David has accumulated on top of what I've done in my book, Renegade History, and in the book that I just finished that's going to press soon. It's just overwhelming. So I really recommend people, if you're interested in this and sort of the origins of American authoritarianism, corporatism, and imperialist expansionism, watch this episode.
That's another thing when you did the New Deal course, and I think David Beto was in on that too.
Mm-hmm.
That's another thing that took me away from libertarianism. It took me a little towards fascism, because seeing the Civilian Conservation Corps was like, oh, this is a bunch of happy guys doing something productive. Doesn't seem so bad. It seems like this would be actually really positive for a lot of young men who don't have purpose in their life right now, and it seems like it could be something positive if we had a Civilian Conservation Corps.
Yeah, I mean, so the CCC was run by the Army, and it was organized like the Army, and the young men who were the workers for the CCC were treated as if they were at an Army camp. They lived in barracks, they followed orders, the whole 9 yards. Yeah, I mean, and a lot of people I've known have joined the military, and I have said it was good for them because they were the kinds of people who needed that. There are a lot of, especially young men, some women too. I think it's good for them. This is why I like boxing, and I love the boxing gym, because you get very much the same kind of discipline. The difference is, of course, that you don't have to fight or die in a boxing gym for a nation state. So again, that's another interesting, very complex question there. But most people are not like you, and most people think it's not great to militarize our youth for no reason other than to militarize them. But anyway, let's talk news. Let's talk about the Civil War that's going on.
Yeah.
So I've been waiting for a week. So we had a huge fight last week about, the last 2 weeks about the shooting of Renee Good.
Yeah.
And you and I haven't talked at all since Alex Pretti was shot on Saturday. So I don't even know what your position. Don't say anything yet. I don't know what your position is. I have not talked to you about this. I have no idea. You haven't posted about it as far as I know. So I've been nervous, on edge, and I'm wondering if I'm going to have to fire you. So what's your position, Alex Pretti?
I mean, I think this warrants an investigation.
Okay. Not the Renee Good. That's clear cut.
The Renee Good is a little more clear cut. But it's you have a much harder case. So with this one, it is possible that, all right, so I think the officers who shot Alex Pretti did so because they believed that there was a threat of lethal force. I believe they did so. I do believe that it is possible that an investigation could show that that wasn't a reasonable belief in lethal force. I'm going by, the law as it's been established, as police shootings are adjudicated. What you need is not 20/20 hindsight of, did this person pose a threat, but what did the officer who made the shot believe at the time with all the information available? And the problem is you've got You've
a lot
got
of problems with that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You've got people blasting very loud whistles, honking their horns.
Mm-hmm.
You've got, possibly sleep deprivation because people were banging on pots and pans outside their hotel the night before, so they didn't get, a good night's sleep and can't make rational decisions. You've got like the worst situations, and you've got like, this is a moment that these activists like did want to manufacture. They want to make martyrs. Like it's in their handbooks. They want to make martyrs. Like this is there's predictive programming on it. Like this is exactly what they want. Now,
and you can't say that. They did not exactly want one of their own to be shot to death. Exactly wanted it. I think on some abstract level, yeah, sure.
I think the politicians wanted this. Murders. I think the politician wanted this, and I think it was in the plans that we are going to provoke ICE into doing something, poke the dog until the dog bites you, and then you shoot the dog,
Okay.
And so I think that's the strategy here. And yeah, I think it's possible that the officers did not have a reasonable threat to their life, did not reasonably believe that their life was in danger. I think it is possible that they did. These two officers have been put on administrative leave, and there is an investigation. But there's like, it's sad, it's awful, it's horrible. But like, now's the time to take the temperature down. Like,
okay,
it's not a murder, it's not an execution, it's not calling it that is just raising the temperature and putting more people's lives in danger.
Okay. Last year, the Minneapolis Police Department arrested 800 people with guns and disarmed them in every single case. So, of course, these are actual criminals who had guns at the time when they were being arrested. Alex Pretti, Renee Good were not criminals, except for maybe obstructing ICE. But we're talking about people, actual criminals, right? In Minneapolis, big city, 800 people, 800 arrests of people with guns, felons with guns. And the Minneapolis PD did not discharge their weapons one single time. ICE and CBP have killed 2 people in a month. Now, so right there's a problem. If the Minneapolis Police Department can arrest someone who has a gun without killing them 800 times, why can't ICE do that when it's not even criminals they're dealing with? Hang on.
Why can't they do that? Why can't they do that?
Do what?
Why can't the Minneapolis Police Department
shoot people
actually help ICE and be handling these protesters and not?
Well, again, it doesn't matter. I'm saying the difficulty of arresting people, I get it. Sure, of course. And it's dangerous and it's scary, and of course, and especially if they have a gun. But again, that's what trained police officers are exactly supposed to do. That's what they're trained to do more than anything else, is to arrest people without killing them needlessly. Okay, so that's number one. And that alone, I think, almost puts it to bed. But the video, right? And if you watch it, you can see the guy with the black ski hat who does the shooting, the initial shooting. He's looking directly at Alex Pretti's waistline when the other agent pulls the gun out of Pretti's holster. He's looking, and he's this far from it. The guy with the gun who's about to shoot him is looking right at where the other guy reaches in and takes a second or two to yank it out. So it wasn't like it was an instant thing. He watches that whole thing, pull the gun out, and then start running away with it. And by the way, most likely fired the gun as he pulled it away.
Well, accidental discharge. This is a firearm known for many accidental discharge.
But he was holding it in his hand anyway.
I know, but there's gun demonstrators like going, "Hey, I just touched the barrel and it goes off." This is a gun known for that. Like the gun community was all over this.
800 guns were taken by Minneapolis PD last year. This
is a very unique circumstance.
Weird.
This is not.
No, it's not. It's a gun. What do you mean? There were no 6 hours in those 800 guns last year. Of course it happens.
You don't have these mobs like this.
And to me, this is it. I mean, when he is shot in his back, or maybe in his head, but it was somewhere between the top of his back and his head, he's on all fours with his hands down, no gun in his hand, and the guy shoots him in the back when he's on all fours. Now, there is no cop in America, and by the way, there have been dozens and dozens of cops who have come out and denounced this on exactly the grounds that I'm talking about. That is exactly what you're trained not to do. You just don't do. There is zero reason to feel fear for your life, especially when there's 6 other guys on top of him at that moment. So clear as day, shoots him in the back when he's on his hands and knees. Like who else? Daniel Shaver, right? Whose widow was on my show, Lainey Sweet, who was killed in the Mesa, Arizona hotel lobby, hallway several years ago, in the most egregious case of a police killing anybody has ever seen.
Police killing,
and everybody agrees on that.
Ever.
Well, that Danny Shaver was on all fours when he was shot.
He was in the middle of a hotel like hallway with nothing else going on, and he was complying with orders with his hands behind his back. This wasn't in the middle of the street and they didn't hear another gunshot go off. If you hear that gunshot go off, you don't know if the gun that was disarmed was the only gun involved. You don't know if he had another gun. If you hear a gunshot go off, it's possible he thought that Alex started shooting, in which case, if Alex is starting to shoot, that means that he's a lethal threat to others, including himself, possibly.
Okay, so, do you not think it is reasonable to conclude that if the Minneapolis Police Department had been arresting Alex Pretti, this would not have happened? Which they should have. Okay, but if actual trained professional law enforcement officers had done the detention of him, he would not have been killed. That seems
if Minneapolis police did their job and arrested him, this would not have happened.
Okay, well then we're done here.
But
that means it's a bad shooting.
Not necessarily. That means the circumstances would have been way different. But again, this is Monday Morning Quarterback. Neither of us are experts. Neither of us are have access to the body cam stuff. This is, and there's a number there's potentially bad decisions on the officer side, and I don't look. It's possible clumsiness, awful decisions. But I think they acted out of fear for their lives. It's up to somebody else to determine whether that's reasonable or not. But also, this is an agitator who, got into a confrontation with police while he was armed. That's the other dimension of this, is that he inserted himself into this. I'm not saying he deserved it. I'm just saying this is like driving drunk. This is like jumping into a gorilla pit at the zoo. This is not smart behavior. Okay. I'm telling people, don't assault law enforcement officers. Obviously it's dumb behavior that puts yourself at risk.
I don't know the number, but I know it's in the thousands and thousands and thousands of people in the process of committing a felony and then resisting arrest while having a gun who haven't been shot by the police. This was not happening there. So to say that this nurse at a protest with his phone out was scarier and more of a threat than one of those actual criminals with a gun who was in the process of committing an actual felony, because even if he was impeding, which he wasn't, it would be a misdemeanor, and no one considers that to be a dangerous offense. Impeding ICE. You can call it illegal, and you can.
If you're doing that while you have a firearm on you, I'm just saying legally that escalates it most likely to a felony. Like,
well, okay, then you don't want the Second Amendment, right?
Okay, I'm just telling you what the law. I'm not arguing from a pure like Second Amendment absolutist position. I'm just telling you what the law is, and you know,
you're trying to. I mean, are you not trying to justify the shooting to explain why it was reasonable?
Well, it's potentially reasonable if the officers thought that he was shooting, which is what could have happened when the misfire happened.
Again, okay. Just why does this only happen with ICE agents and CBP when they're deployed to the middle of cities in the middle of America, right?
It only happens in Minnesota. I mean, it happens.
But cops who do the actual scary stuff, who do, actually are arresting and disarming actually scary people who are in the process of doing extremely scary things, they don't shoot the people. They don't shoot the suspects. They're wrestling them down too, of course, in thousands of cases. I mean, this happens all the time in America because most criminals carry guns. It happens probably every single day. There's a resisting arrest right now with someone with a gun and he's not getting shot in the back. I don't know. Chat, what's your vote? Last week, you were split on this. Are you still with Michael? Does anyone still want me to fire him? Mm-hmm. Anyone want Michael to fire me?
Look, this is like also the current thing, hysteria. And I'm like not going to be emotionally blackmailed into going along with it.
Okay.
Like it's,
well, and might one say you're being emotionally blackmailed to go along with the other side? I don't know.
No,
it's emotional, isn't it? It's
no,
emotional for me.
Okay, but yeah, I mean, all right. It's just like this is a deliberate attempt to make these things happen. It's so obvious that it's a deliberate attempt.
I don't really think that. Mm-hmm. I mean, so ICE is coming here for the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. I don't know if people know this, but they announced a few days ago that they're going to launch a big operation around the Super Bowl in San Jose and Santa Clara, mm-hmm. which is where the Levi Stadium is, the 49ers stadium. And I want to go. Like I have to stop myself from going. I have to like restrain myself. I just have this
nothing good will come of it.
I'm just saying, okay, yeah. But I'm telling you, Michael, I don't want to get shot in doing that.
I'm just telling you.
I promise you, I have no interest in me, and I hate when anybody gets shot, even bad people. Even when bad people get shot, I don't like it. But I don't think that's true. I'm sure there are some, I guess, in the anti-ICE movement in Minneapolis who do on some level want the murder, but I just don't think so. I mean, not most of them, certainly. These are the people in the streets of Minneapolis are a bunch of liberals.
Well, also, yeah, that's the thing is like they don't understand that they're dealing with people who are authorized and trained to use deadly force.
I'm saying liberals are not into that stuff. They're not into getting killed for the cause. That's actual communists, maybe, sure. But they're not, most of them are not actual communists. You can see they're liberals. Alex Pretti was not a communist. He worked at the fucking VA. I mean, come on. And Nicole Renee Good, I mean, I don't think she was probably smart enough to be a communist. And I don't see any evidence of that. She's just a wokester, which is liberal. Communism is a very disciplined, organized movement and ideology that requires, a real commitment, a sort of an existential commitment to this grand cause. And that's why a lot of communists have been willing to die and fight for the cause. I mean, I've known a few who have died. It's not this. It's not this.
They're being told to put their bodies on the line. That's what Penny Flanagan said. The lieutenant governor of Minneapolis said, it's time to put your bodies on the line.
Martin Luther King did. Martin Luther King on the Edmund Pettus Bridge.
The training manuals for ICE Watch says that it trains you to try to de-arrest people. So when you see somebody get arrested, try to wrestle them away from law enforcement and de-arrest them.
All right.
And they call each de-arrest a little intifada.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's in the training manuals that both of these people were in for. There's like little.
Okay, but so I would say to someone, don't do that
Yeah.
because you could get shot. I think it's a bad idea just for your own self-interest. But that's not what Alex Pretti was doing. He was defending a woman who had just been shoved in the back by one of these asshole CPP agents. That's what he was doing, right? And in fact, he had his back to them when they tackled him. He was putting himself between them and this woman they had just shoved in the back. Talk about cowards, by the way. A woman shoved her hard in the back, shoved her into the street in the back, and then shoved him in the back before they shot him in the back. Ain't happening, man. I'm sorry. This one is. If they'd actually been, yes, running up to the ICE agents and grabbing some Mexican guy out of their grip and they had a gun. Yeah. Then I'd say, well, I hate all deportations, but yeah, that's not a good idea. And that will lead to you getting shot. But that's not what happened here in either case in any way. Not in any way. And you know that, right? Renee Good was in her car. She wasn't de-arresting anybody. Alex Pretti was defending this woman. She wasn't de-arresting anybody ever, even in the 3 minutes before when she was honking in the street. She's just being a bitch. She's just being annoying. She's just trying to be annoying, deliberately being a bitch.
Well, all right. Again, these agents have been the targets of car rammings. They've had projectiles thrown at them everywhere they go. They've had horns honked at them. It's the most obvious, organized, deliberate obstruction, illegal obstruction tactics. And until Sunday nights, Minneapolis police wasn't doing anything about it. But then this is what I want. This is the more productive conversation, I think, is that I think Tim Walz caved, and he had a phone conversation with Trump, which Trump called very friendly, very productive. Greg Bovino left, and in what I see as an escalation, Tom Homan comes in. Tim Walz is on CNN the next day, and he's on the Bulwark the next day talking about how Tom Homan's like a really professional guy. He's a really serious person. He's a good guy. And all of a sudden, Minneapolis police is assisting. They are the ones actually arresting the rioters now. The people on the ground see this as a huge betrayal. Vouch did like a half-hour YouTube video about how Walz totally betrayed them. These protesters went to Walz's office the next day, like protesting him instead of protesting ICE. And there's like a handful of people outside of Whipple when it used to be thousands outside of Whipple.
Okay.
The left has lost this ground game. This is a war of attrition. Deportations are escalating in Minneapolis. This is very, very bad for the DFL. They chose a horrible strategy. If I was a leftist, I would tell them, don't fight this fight. You're going to lose. And I think they've lost. And I think they're going to be served subpoenas, which they already have been. And
okay. I mean, maybe in the courts they'll lose, in federal courts, maybe. But in the court of public opinion, there's no way you can argue that the Minnesota liberals are losing this fight.
I think you're on a bubble a little bit when it comes. I think people talk about you're in a political bubble when it talks to certain social media. It did break through to normie Instagram. It did break through to some normie Instagram posters, but I think by and large, the deportation effort is popular.
Not anymore. It was until they started doing these raids, these operations in these cities. It was popular. This was Trump's most popular issue. It was very upsetting to me that it was so popular because I'm an open border
rating has gone up. Rasmussen has up.
Rasmussen is widely known to be the least reputable poller.
They were the only people who said Trump was going to win. in 2024. Every other poll said Kamala was going to win.
They're very shaky.
Okay.
Rasmussen. Come on.
Right.
Come on. There have been poll after poll after poll over the last 4 weeks showing plummeting support for Trump and for ICE and even for deportations. This is not debatable.
I've seen polls that still show this is a winning issue, that still show CBP is on the whole viewed as positive.
Okay. I would like to see those polls because that's not what I've seen.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And this is why Trump is caving.
How's he caving?
He fired Bovino and he's moving in home, and he just said
he didn't fire Bovino. He moved him to California, where he moved him somewhere else.
What's the difference?
Yeah.
Okay. And he just said very clearly, no, I don't think Alex Pretti was a domestic terrorist. And then Kristi Noem is now saying everything I did was told to me by Stephen Miller and Trump. So they're imploding.
There's clumsy public statements. There's clumsy public statements, but on the ground.
Why would they do any of those things if this was still popular?
The Pretti shooting looks bad. The operation on the whole is still popular because it's not slowing down.
Okay. We have epistemological differences here.
Okay.
I don't know how to proceed except to move on to the next topic, which is even more important, which has to do with killing people around the world.
Well, here's the other thing. Sorry.
Yeah.
Mamdani, the SRG,
Mm-hmm.
what is it? The special reaction. What is it called? But yeah, the special force of the NYPD that he promised to abolish.
Yeah.
They arrested 65 anti-ICE protesters.
That
were in a hotel, and
okay.
The left is seeing this as a huge betrayal. Again, I think
I'm not against that either. I mean, that's different. It's not about that they're going after ICE. It's that they're invading a hotel, private property, and disrupting it for everybody who's in there who have nothing to do with it. So I would probably want those people arrested too, or at least detained, or at least kicked out of the hotel. So I'm not.
It's Mamdani using a police force that he promised to abolish to go after the political activist class that he promised to protect.
Okay. As I said on Twitter, Mamdani would be so much better as Secretary of State. And I really wish he would run for Congress or a national office instead of local, because he's great on foreign policy and he would be great at a national level. But Mamdani is going to be, there's going to be one contradiction after another, because that's what happens when revolutionaries take control of state power, like with Trump and MAGA. One contradiction after the other over the last year. And that's what's going to happen every single day. It happens every single time. It's predictable as the sun rising. So I'm not that interested in that, but sure. I mean, let's talk about foreign policy. Let's talk about Marco Rubio today.
Yeah, big Mark.
Little Marco. Maybe Donald told me that he's actually little. So So Marco Rubio testifies to the Senate today about Venezuela, which is good. I like that it was limited to just that one issue so they could really drill down on it. And I was thinking, the Democrats are going to score some points here. Well, the very first Democrat senator to speak was Jeanne Shaheen of New Hampshire, who was the governor of New Hampshire and has been in the Senate for a long time, like one of the establishment senior Democrats in the Senate. And you know what her criticism of Marco Rubio and Trump was on their Venezuela policy? Guess.
I mean, you said they weren't imperialist enough, that they.
She said you didn't remove the entire regime.
Yeah,
you didn't do a good enough job.
Do a regime change,
and you're not controlling the country directly. Yeah, she said they're still the same people running the country. Why don't you take care of them too?
She wants Machado, maybe. Yeah.
Whatever. It's just, so again. Ladies and gentlemen of the universe, once again, I say to you, the Democrats have always been and still are the leading imperialist party in this country. When we replace Trump and MAGA with some other Democrat, even if it's Gavin Newsom, I guarantee you the same, and deportations too. Deportations and certainly wars will be conducted, but they'll be done so respectably in ways that Liberals will sort of say, oh, that's too bad that we killed all those people in another country and we deported 3 million people under Obama. Or they won't even notice it because it won't be reported.
Yeah.
As with the deportations under Obama. But that's the liberal game, which has been the game in American politics for 200 years. Since the Civil War. Civil War sort of started it. 600,000 people. The invasion of a sovereign nation. Conquest of it. Colonization of it. Yeah, but it was cool because it was for a good cause, because the black people were freed by it, even though they weren't. And then World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam. Every one of them, liberal war defended by liberals, and the slaughter that involved is magnitudes of orders of magnitude higher than anything that Trump has done. But liberals are still cool with it, and those are their favorite presidents, as David Beto and I said today in the episode on Unregistered. FDR and Truman, you want to talk about body counts? My goodness. Lincoln, their favorite president of all time. Highest body count of all, and that was Americans killed. So, and this is my big problem with the liberal left discourse today, this year against Trump. It's like, sure, I agree with all you guys on that stuff on Trump, but you're going to replace him with someone who's much worse, much more destructive, much more murderous, most likely, much more authoritarian, because they'll be respectable. And people say, well, this is just what America does, and we have to do this. And they'll come up with all sorts of justifications. Or they'll just believe, which most of them do, in an American global empire. So that's what needs to be said. And that's what I've been trying to do on Twitter more and more. But today in this testimony, in this hearing, the only senator of either party who criticized Rubio and Trump for launching the operation at all was, guess who?
Yeah, Rand Paul.
Rand Paul. Yeah. It was amazing. He said, well, wait a second. First of all, he said, I mean, his main point was, if another country invaded ours and kidnapped our president at gunpoint, we would consider that an act of war. Why don't you, Marco? Mm-hmm. Really remarkable. But the Democrats, I mean, are just astoundingly still who they are.
Oh, and this is a libertarian case for having Trump in office. In what other universe would Congress vote on war powers?
Yes, sir.
Nobody gives a shit unless it's big, scary orange fascist. Nobody cares about war powers unless it's the unrespectable guy in power. So
the opposition party, it's the party that is not in power, is always right. Doesn't matter. When Trump was out of power and MAGA was out of power, who did I side with 99% of the time? I didn't have one good word to say about liberals or the Democrats. Then as soon as they take power and really take power, which is what happened this time, not the first term when he never really had power, but now that he really has power, now everything the Democrats and liberals are saying, I agree with. As I said on Twitter, always be a rebel, never be a revolutionary. Because once you take state power, you have to murder people. You have to incarcerate people. That's what states do to exist, to survive. So if you want state power, that means you now are the state, and we know what states do for their own survival. Democrats, the thing about Democrats is that they're better at it than Republicans. They're better at it than Trump. They can do it in ways that will soothe the conscience of Americans and liberals when they go off to war.
Well, there's also no conception of left-wing authoritarianism. There's been studies on this that right-wingers are more quick to call their own beliefs authoritarian. Yeah, that's an authoritarian measure that I'm in favor of.
Right.
And left-wingers can't even conceptualize of such thing as left-wing authoritarianism. They think it's a contradiction of terms.
Right.
Yeah.
True. So, I mean, this was on full display today, and this was when I started to see the future, when the Democrats were talking to Marco Rubio about how they didn't do a good enough job in Venezuela and weren't imperialist enough. I said, this is going to be in about 9 months or 10 months. We're going to see this, and they're going to have they're going to control the Senate and they're going to be doing wars and everybody will be like, yay, cool. Or they're going to be doing mass deportations and we won't even know about it because CNN won't cover it.
Cernovich was just on Michael Malice, and
my goodness,
he believes that he's got a theory that the Republicans are poised pretty well for the midterms. And
Mike Cernovich is
I agree with
scrambled in the brain, I gotta say. He's had his moments, but especially lately, I don't even know what this human being is anymore. He's always been pretty weird and wacky and inconsistent. In some ways I found sort of interesting, but now it's just I don't even know what he's talking about anymore. It's a communist, what is it? A paramilitary communist insurgency in Minneapolis. That's what's going on.
Yeah.
Now there are some communists in Minneapolis, I'm sure, who wish it were. Oh yeah, but it is nothing like that. And again, it's liberals. These aren't real communists. I know real communists. I've known real communists with guns. The first gun I ever saw was in the possession of a member of the Spartacist League, Trotskyist organization back in the 70s in Berkeley. And he said, we can't have a revolution. And when I was in horror, I was 10 years old at the time, and I'd never seen a gun before other than on a cop. And I was just like, what the hell is that? And he said, you can't have a revolution without guns. And I was like, oh, right. Communists are really into the Second Amendment and they really need guns. I get it. It's a violent movement. It has to be, because it requires controlling people en masse. That's what communism is. Mm-hmm. And you can't control people en masse without violence.
It has been hard for me to be in a room with liberals, like where there's a number of liberals, usually older women, and the conversation inevitably goes to somebody should. I mean, this is YouTube, but I wish Donald Trump didn't turn his head that fateful day, or hey, Donald Trump is in that booth. Somebody should really do something about him at that football game. That's where the conversation always goes. It wasn't. Well, it kind of was like this. There were novels about murdering Bush. That Nicholson Baker wrote a novel about murdering Bush that was like a bestseller.
Yeah, but my mother talks all the time about shooting Trump in the head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and Republicans generally. She's said this my entire life. She's talked about, and rich people too. She wants to kill all of them.
There's bumper stickers everywhere. Is he dead yet? Yeah,
they're all Robespierre.
Yeah, but I this is like what I've been wanting to talk about for like 18 months. Is that there is an increasing mental health problem and a radicalization problem on the left. That their whole worldview fell apart again, and they fell into nihilism, and they don't see any way out. And
you weren't around in the 70s.
I wasn't around.
This is nothing new.
I know. There were bombs going off every day in the 70s.
In the Bay Area, when I was a kid in the 70s, it was as lunatic as anything.
Yeah.
I don't think it's anything new. I think there's a lot of it on the right as well. I think it's political people. The political life is an impoverished life. And so if you just do what you and I are doing here and nothing else, which a lot of these people do, you're likely to be so alienated and isolated from the real world, the so-called real world, and real people around you, which most hardcore leftists tend to be. They tend to care a whole lot about the people of Palestine and not at all about their own families or friends or neighborhoods.
Oh,
it's a very bad thing for mental health. And so it's not surprising to me.
And this is the thing about the Pretti shooting and the Good shooting. It hasn't broken the same cultural level that Breonna Taylor and George Floyd broke. And athletes, when they're asked about it, they give blasé answers. They don't care. They don't, they say, I'm not really, wanting to comment about that. I don't really know anything about that, Anthony Davis, most famously, but
what did AD say about this?
I forget his exact words, but he
Pretti.
Yeah, he just dodged the question. Didn't really, And
LeBron, has LeBron said anything?
LeBron is incredibly outraged. LeBron is incredibly outraged that Bill Belichick did not get a first ballot Hall of Fame. All of the athletes are unequivocally outraged about Bill Belichick and have not commented on this shooting. And seriously, like I think the Democrats were the boy who cried wolf during Trump won. And it is possible, because at the end of the story, the boy who cried wolf, there's a wolf at the end. And maybe we have a wolf and the town doesn't care anymore. But I think we're at the stage where the town doesn't care anymore. That the Democrats have already shot their credibility. They blew it all in 2020. They blew it again with how awful Biden was and being senile and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And they just want to live normally. Politics is an annoyance to their lives. And I think they know the hysteria can't be rewarded and will never go away. And it's best to just tune it out.
Mm-hmm.
And seriously, I think that the psyops and the media hysteria about things can't break a mass level like it used to anymore. And people don't watch the same news anymore. People are way siloed off from each other, which is why, I sound crazy and you sound crazy. Yeah.
And we've had more public attacks on government officials in the last year than in a long, long time, maybe ever. I mean, fortunately, none of them have been lethal, but the last 2 years, if you count Trump's assassination attempts, and if you count Charlie Kirk, who almost is equivalent, I guess, at least culturally, to a government official. I mean, and then we have, whatever happened to Ilhan Omar. I mean, my crush on her is only bigger now because of that. Not because of whatever happened. It's because she was about to punch that dude.
Yeah.
Did you see that? That was great.
Don't be bringing apple cider vinegar.
Oh, she squared up with him. She was about to throw too.
Yeah.
She was about to throw a right. And I like her. I've always liked her. She's the only squad member who's worth anything.
She's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, she's smart. She's pretty. But she's feisty. I love that. And she's really good on foreign policy, which is the most important thing by far.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And who cares about a little fraud here and there?
Yeah. She's not commenting on it, which makes me think there's something there. Like,
did you know the investigation into her was launched by Biden?
Yeah.
I didn't know that until today, actually.
Yeah.
But they haven't found anything. She hasn't been indicted yet. So that sort of tells you.
It's okay. Biden already looked into it and found nothing.
But then Trump continued the investigation and they still haven't found anything and they still haven't indicted her. So that tells me she's not really that mobbed up. Plus, I think marrying your brother is cool because I like traditional culture. Don't you? I think you're a paleocon. Don't you like traditional culture?
Yeah.
Did she really marry her brother? Is that like confirmed? Do we know
for
that
immigration fraud? Yeah, for the papers. Yeah.
Oh, right. So she's not having sex with her brother.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Okay.
Since we have 15 minutes, though, you're talking about Marco Rubio. The other big question on Marco Rubio, he hinted perhaps at a preemptive attack on Iran.
Here we go. Let's do this. Yeah. So as we speak, the USS Liberty aircraft carrier with the carrier group, meaning
Lincoln.
Lincoln? Is it Lincoln?
Yeah. Liberty was in the 60s.
Oh, that's the one that got that's the one that got bombed by Israel. Yeah, exactly. My point. That's right. Yes, it's the Liberty. Yes.
Yeah.
The USS Lincoln with I think a carrier group has something like 10 battleships with it, roughly, something like that. Will be arriving in the Persian Gulf, I think tomorrow. It's on its way. And the talk on the Zionist podcast, Call Me Back, which again I recommend if you care about the issue of Palestine, Israel. Dan Senor, Call Me Back podcast is a must because he has actual Israeli government officials and the journalists in Israel who are like basically spokespeople almost for the Netanyahu government on there, and they're just open about it, because they don't feel ashamed of any of this stuff, so they tell you everything. They're getting ready to go. They think, or at least Israel thinks, that Trump is going to launch a strike. But now again, Trump certainly could change his mind because he does that all the time, but that looks to be like the current plan. The guy, Trump, is just, how is he going to make it through 3 more years of this at this pace of just radical disruption and chaos? And even if the body count still is nothing compared to other like former Democrat presidents. Still, it's just terrifying and scary. And and chaotic, and he's losing support for it, despite what you think. But yeah, so that's what's on the offing.
Oh, well, okay.
In the offing?
I know I keep bringing this up each week, but new totals for the death count in Iran is like between 37,000 and 45,000.
Total made up shit.
Total made up numbers.
Total made up shit.
You sure?
Okay. Well, I mean, I know those numbers are made up.
Okay.
I don't know. No one knows what the numbers are because the Iranian government, despite some claims to the contrary, has never announced the numbers killed. All we have is some pictures and some videos of some bodies in some morgues.
Mm-hmm.
The bodies in the morgues I've seen dozens, maybe scores, hundreds at the most. Not saying there's not more. I'm certainly possible there are, because most likely, well, not because we know that there were men in the streets with machine guns shooting into crowds and shooting in particular at police officers in Iran. So by the way, imagine if Alex Pretti had been doing, or imagine if the Minneapolis protesters had been doing what those guys in Iran were doing, opening fire with machine guns at police officers. How many deaths do you think there would be? So again, I hate all the states, but this was clearly a provocation instigated almost certainly by Mossad, the CIA, and MI6.
Mm-hmm.
It just, because there was we did this last week, right?
Yeah.
It was a peaceful protest for 2 days about a completely legitimate issue, led by the business class.
Yeah.
And there was no violence at all. Then all of a sudden these guys popped up with machine guns and flamethrowers and grenades. And
the line coming out though is that there's 45,000 people murdered by the Iranian regime, and the people who were screaming there's a genocide in Gaza are carrying water for the Iranian regime that are carrying out a genocide right now.
Right. And where do you imagine that number comes from? Mm-hmm. Who do you think came up with that number? What do you think the original source of that number is? Mm-hmm. Where? Tell me where in the world do you think that was first?
I heard 45,000 from an activist.
It would be Tel Aviv. It would be Tel Aviv.
On the spot.
It would be Tel Aviv. Okay.
Yeah. But 37,000 was somewhere else. But yeah.
It would be the Kiryat, the Israeli military headquarters in Tel Aviv. That's exactly where, or Netanyahu's office. No doubt about it. Just obvious, and all their paid shills around. We know this. We've been doing this for a while, everybody. 2+ years of listening to Zionists talk and invent the craziest shit. And then suddenly it gets little circulation in the discourse. Thankfully, nowadays, it no longer travels as far as it used to. Used to be before Gaza that the Zionists and Israel could just say anything, and basically the whole media would be like, yep, that's probably what's happening. We should go to war with Iraq. No, it's all made up. No, it could be. I don't know. I doubt it. I don't see 35,000. That seems outlandish, but it could be, I guess, in the thousands. Again, if you're shooting at the cops in the street, there's going to be a lot of people killed. There's just no, right? No matter what government it is, no matter what state it is, no matter what regime it is, they're going to kill a lot of people when that happens, right? Mm-hmm. I just, until we find out who organized and armed those fighters in the streets in Iran, there's nothing else to talk about. That's all there is. We need to know who made that into a deadly riot. It wasn't the government. It wasn't the government who started shooting first, as far as I know.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
And also, what do we do with paid agents of foreign states? Mm-hmm. What in the United States? What do we do with them when they are conducting espionage and sabotage inside the United States? What do? It's called the electric chair.
Yeah, we Rosenberg them.
We Rosenberg them, right? If we don't shoot them in the streets first, right? Yeah. This is very clear cut. Come on now. So, and we know that all the Zionists and Israeli government officials and Mike Pompeo were all saying Mossad is everywhere in Tehran. Oh, but they had nothing to do with this. And how dare you, and how anti-Semitic is it of you to say that they had anything to do with these violent rioters? It's just so patently ridiculous. And this is, it's just par for the course with Zionists.
Yeah.
The biggest liars as a group, I think, in political history.
Mm-hmm. So look out for regime change in the next month or two.
Attempted regime change.
Yeah, attempted.
I don't see it happening.
Mm-hmm.
What happens when you bomb countries from above? What happened when the Brits did this? And they, by the way, began the bombing campaign against Germany in 1940, before Germany had done anything to Britain militarily. Churchill started bombing civilian centers in Germany. What happened? The Nazi approval rating went from like 10% to like 50%, or at least people were much more, even the Jews. Read Victor Klemperer's amazing diary of being in Berlin as a Jew during the war. He said the Jews are hoping the Germans win, Hitler won, because everybody rallied around, of course, their own government to protect themselves from this hideous annihilatory bombing of civilian cities. And that's exactly what's, of course, happening in Iran too. Most Iranians, like most people, are apolitical. But once you start dropping bombs on their apartment buildings, they tend to look for who can protect them. And who can protect them is their goddamn government. It's yet another reason why war is terrible. It causes people to be statists.
Mm-hmm. I should note right now, for the through line of this show, there's the Kanye West apology on Wall Street Journal, Vanity Fair.
You've been waiting for, man, it's been how many months since Kanye came up?
Well,
this used to be the Kanye West show. This used to be. What did he do? What happened?
He wrote like a 1 or 2 page apology, and it was mostly, I don't like that he's constantly talking about his mental condition and sort of blaming it on his mental condition. I wish he would own up to what he did and take responsibility and agency for it. But
I thought you liked what he did.
Wait,
what did he do that we're talking about?
I liked from an artistic. I saw the merit in it artistically. I saw but he apologized for the hurt that he caused Jewish people.
Oh.
Specifically in a 5-month period last year where he created the song of the summer last year. But this is, you might not have been hip to this, but Nick Fuentes and Sneeko and Clavicular and all the streamers went to a club in Miami and blasted Kanye's song.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
He was pissed off about it, and it's showing that there's a cultural shift. Kanye is ahead of the trends. Anti-Semitism was 2023 to 2025.
Trendy.
2026, it's not cool anymore. Stop it.
Oh,
it's not.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, that's why you're against it now? Because it's not cool anymore?
Yeah.
But it was cool when we were talking about Kanye all the time?
No, I mean, what...
Kanye wasn't wrong about the Jews, by the way.
Again, I don't think he ever had any hate in his heart.
I mean, not entirely wrong, I would say.
I don't think he had any hate in his heart. I think he just had specific gripes with his trainer and with certain people in the music industry.
Right. Yeah. Jews have nothing to do with the music industry.
What he did, though,
suggest that they're
what he did, though, is that he took a bazooka to the Overton window and, made fun of Netanyahu a year before October 7th and sort of made it sort of cutting edge and countercultural and something forward thinking to not be afraid of being anti-Semitic, like not be afraid of having that label thrown at you, not being afraid of the huge taboo there is around this subject, which has to be taken down if we are to discuss the state of Israel. And
thank you.
Yeah,
right. That's the problem with dumb anti-Semitism.
You can't have that taboo.
Is that it undercuts any serious critique of Israel.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
And you have to just mow that over with a battering ram.
Yeah.
And he did that artistically.
Yeah. That's why Jake Shields is just such an idiot, because all he's doing is destroying our movement. I mean, it's not
ridiculous. Cool anymore. Yeah.
It's just dumb and it's self-destructive.
It's not funny anymore. Yeah.
So back to, I'm going to finish, and then maybe we'll start doing this, a cultural recommendation at the end of each show, maybe. And you can offer one and I can offer one, but I got one. Totally rent. This has nothing to do with anything except for the decline in Black culture. Because Black people in America are no longer producing good music. I have to now go to Europe to find jazz that I like. And I discovered this band that has, and the reason I found it was their drummer is, I think, phenomenal. Do you know about Go-Go Penguin?
No,
They're British. They're from, I think, Manchester. Trio. And their original drummer just left, Rob Thomas, I think his name is. Listen to that. I mean, this is the best jazz I've heard in a long, long time. It's almost like electronica jazz, but acoustic. But listen to the virtuosity, the playing, especially the bass and drums. You'll love it. Even if you don't like that kind of music, but you will. There's a whole new genre of European jazz, which I've talked about, which I'm totally into because I've been up in the Blacks. Recommended. Go-Go Penguin. Check it out, everybody.
And
You'll love it. Let me know.
Yeah, I've been telling you this for a while. After the Hunt, movie-wise, After the Hunt.
What is that again?
It's Julia Roberts. Jack Mason says the best movie of the decade. Filthy Armenian says it's the most bravest movie ever made. But it's basically Tar, but it takes place at the Yale philosophy department. Okay. And the last scene could have been written by you. If for fans of that who like nuanced discussions about who appreciate nuanced discussions about the rules of sexuality in society. This is a drama basically entirely about that, and it's great. It's the most serious indictment of Me Too that we've ever had, and it's a serious drama that pulls no punches.
After the Hunt, Go-Go Penguin. Check it out. Northern Lights, Indica, I recommend for sleep at night. There you go, everybody. You're welcome. We're also for the after show, because you just raised an issue where there's going to be some serious tea spilled. We're going to do some heavy gossiping that people are going to be pretty excited about at the after show, which I can't do publicly because it involves public figures who I know, and I can't do that. But I'm going to tell some spill some serious tea.
Cool.
In the after show about particular people you will very much appreciate, Michael, especially because it's people you like a lot. Yeah. So if you want to come check it out, hang out with us at the after show, just become a subscriber on Substack. And the Zoom link to the show, to the after show, is right there once you subscribe. Michael, we did it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Don't fire me.
Can't.
All right.
We're out.
Good. Bye. Peace.